Welcome to the Tay and Todd Washington Football Team podcast. This is your co-host Tay and Todd. I'm sorry if I would have waited until we won a game. I wouldn't be waiting until draft season to get a haircut. So I finally got a haircut this past week, this Saturday, and I'm feeling good. And hopefully that will equate to another loss this Sunday against the Broncos. But Todd, I think the defense played really well. I was encouraged by that. But other than that, the game went about as expected. I thought they could have won that game. But other than that, Todd, how you feeling?
Yeah, someone made a good point that Washington beat Washington on Sunday. The Packers didn't really beat Washington. The defense, like you said, they had their best game of the year. I mean, they still gave up 24 points. It's kind of bad. I mean, it's really bad that 24 points is your best game of the year. But, I mean, they didn't give up really explosive plays. They were 50% on third downs, which technically is an improvement. It's still terrible. But you don't come out of this game feeling like you lost because of the defense, because you're playing against Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, and they were kept at bay for the most part. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, so to speak. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a good game, but he didn't have one of his, they didn't go off. It wasn't crazy. It was the offense. But then the thing about the offense is the offense moved the ball up and down the field all day and then only managed to score, it was 24-10, right? Mm-hmm. So they beat themselves more than any other game this year. They absolutely beat themselves. So, yeah, that's how. I mean, I'm just kind of I hate feeling the way that I feel right now because I'm stuck deciding whether I should be really rooting hard for them to win and not really seeing what the point of that is. But I don't like rooting for them. Rooting for them to lose because you kind of see the advantages of that, but that doesn't feel good. So I hate being in this spot, man. Well, we're here again.
They're kind of, yes. If we get that one, 2-5 again, right? So
yeah.
The crazy thing is I'm looking at the draft position, and I think last year we were probably around this time, maybe 3 or 4, as far as
because we were 1-6 last year.
Yeah, 1-6. So
right.
No, I think we're 2.
No, we were 2-5. Yeah, my bad. We were 2-5.
But I think we're like the third pick, maybe, or so. I don't know. I can't go back that far and think. But I'm just thinking, like, now we're in a similar position as we were last year, because it's like the division was really bad last year, mm-hmm. and the conference is not that good this year. The conference, the last 2 seeds, the 6 and 7 seed, have 3 losses. Mm-hmm. So and Washington plays a couple of those teams. They play the Seattle and a couple of those teams that are
Panthers.
Carolina. Yeah, that are battling. So it's a weird situation. It's like, do you want them to push for the wild card? Because those last 7 games are very winnable. But mm-hmm. at the end of the day, it's like, is it worth it, or do you want to just be really, really bad?
Exactly. Okay, we're off. So before we get too deep into it, check out our sponsors. As always, Hot Chikn Kitchn in Dumfries, Virginia. Great service, great food. They'll take great care of you. Just the best chicken sandwich you'll have in this area. And then check out Dunpro Financial and try out their 7-day free trial of their Diligent course, where you learn how to repair your credit, learn about buying a car, buying a house, everything financial. Check them out. Those links are below. I can't do another 7-win season, Tay. I don't see the point of that, because you didn't improve, but you also are not bad. I don't see the point of that when you don't have a quarterback. Everything changes if you feel like you have a young quarterback and, you're just trying to improve, take steps, build year by year. They are trying to build year by year, but without a quarterback, I don't really see the point of winning 7 games and getting the 15th, 16th pick. Maybe someone falls, maybe you trade up. But again, this team is not what we thought it was, especially defensively. So I feel more that they need their assets and their draft picks now, more so than being able to trade them all the way for a quarterback. That doesn't mean I'm totally against it, but I just don't feel the same way I did before. So I just can't do another 7-win season. Mm-hmm. Like with Kirk Cousins, I didn't feel the same way. I didn't want them to lose and get down bad with Kirk Cousins in a season. I just wanted them to get better. But they don't have even Kirk Cousins now. So that's why I'm saying, like you said, like they're 2-5. This Broncos game, we can't really say anything about the Broncos because Washington doesn't look good. Like, it's a winnable game, but I'm not going to say Washington's better. I think they're just matched up teams who both have two of the worst quarterback situations in the NFL. The Broncos might have more offensive skill players when they're fully healthy, and defensively, I mean, they're solid. But so that game could go either way, and then you play the Bucs out of the bye, and let's not pretend like we're gonna beat the Bucs any given Sunday. Sure, they're not gonna beat the Bucs.
No.
So 3-6 is I would say 99% guaranteed. 2-7 is very possible. And then, yeah, I agree with you that last stretch of games is winnable. The toughest teams they'll play is the Cowboys twice. But you'll be 2-7 at that point. The best record you could have is 10-7, and that's if you go on an 8-game win streak, which is very unlikely. So then, even if you finish strong, what is the point of winning 7 games? We did this last year, and I was not for it. And people say you always play to win, and okay, I'm not doing it again. I won't be fooled again. And I wasn't really fooled last year, but I won't be fooled again, Tate.
Yeah, same. I'm in the same boat. I'm glad I got another chance to redeem myself.
It's okay. There's always more room. There's always room at the cross.
I agree with you. Yeah, right. I agree with you, man. It's just we don't have a quarterback, and I really believe if we lose this game against the Broncos, there's no rebounding from it. I think
the Broncos lost to the Browns without Baker and with Jarvis and Odell hurt and no Chubb and no Hunt. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm saying if they don't win, Judy comes back this week, so of course.
But you know he will.
Yes. So I just don't think Heinicke is the guy that I think you leave him in. I just
doesn't make a
he's
difference.
regressed to me. I guess we'll talk about that play later on in the show. But,
yeah.
I just if you lose against the Broncos, I think you just need a tank. That's just what it is. I mean,
so the thing is, like, what I really need to see this year more than wins and losses, because like we are always rooting for this team to win, Tate, but it's like it's not as black and white as just win every game. Like, yes, but do what it takes to be able to do that, which is not always winning, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to lose so you can win. Let's just be honest about that. But right now, I think really, and I'm waiting until this Broncos game to really commit to one side or the other. If they lose to the Broncos, Tay, it's over. Like, no, don't do this again. I really want to see the team improve, the defense improve, young players develop like Ben St. Juste, like Jamin Davis, like Sam Cosmi, like De'Ami Brown, like Antonio Gibson, guys from last year. See them play well, see them improve, see that you are competing and contending in these games and that you're putting together good games, but ultimately don't go off and end up winning seven games and go 7-10. Now, I want to see you build, and I want everything to kind of be going in the right direction, and for quarterback to just clearly be the main problem. Then you go into next year feeling like, let's get this quarterback, continue to build the roster, and then if we win 7, 8, 9 games next year, cool. But this year, I just don't see the advantage. And I'll say, I mean, if they would have, so again, this year, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance were not options as far as I'm concerned. It was Mac Jones, it was Justin Fields. Had they taken Mac Jones or Justin Fields, they might have been in the same boat. They might have been 2-5, but it would have felt different. I would have been saying, no, play to win. Like let's get on a roll here at the end. Let's build some confidence for this young rookie. But without that, it's everything is different. The whole dynamic is different. So I'm watching these young guys, and I just want to see them develop so that you can get a quarterback and feel better about the team you're putting him into.
Yeah, that needs to be the step. And I think Ron's taking notice. I think Jamin played really well. Just Ben St. Juste, I think he had good coverage on Cobb that one pass.
He did. Yeah, they were picking on him, but he was there.
He was there. He was
there. I thought he played well.
I do too.
Yeah, so we can get into the game.
Let's get into the game. Let's get into the game. Offense.
Let's start on offense. They got so the Packers were 15 for 15 on allowing touchdowns in the red zone coming into this game. and then Washington went 0 for 3, maybe 0 for 4. They were aggressive on fourth downs. There was 3 fourth downs inside of the 30, and they didn't convert any of them. 2 of them were inside of the 2-yard line, and they didn't convert. So, I'm just kind of baffled by the offense in this game. It was a weird one. First, I mean, the Heinicke dive down. Okay, so first of all, I didn't know that rule was the rule, but I have no idea. I don't know why he did that. He saw someone coming and he was trying to, I guess, protect himself, but he was going into the end. He literally could have walked in. The most that would have happened is he would have got shoulder checked, if that. But then he didn't really dive. He started to, and then he kind of reached the ball, but didn't. And that was the fact that Aaron Rodgers did it last year makes me feel better, but that was just a terrible play.
I just feel like you should have gave it to him. Come on, are you serious?
I don't agree with the rule. I'm with you on that. I don't agree with the rule. Yeah, and context matters to me. But that was a massive. So you had already you were coming out of halftime 14-7 after the defense gave up a 2-minute. The defense is playing well first, so they gave up the drive. Well, we're not talking about the defense. Anyway, you're coming out of halftime 14-7, and you're trying to do something, and then Charles Leno gives up pressure, and you. I want to see the all-22 because I feel like somebody was open. I feel like Heinicke was throwing to somebody who was open, and instead it ends up being fumble. And the other thing is how unlucky are we with fumbles? I know. Okay, so maybe I can't say that they fumbled 4 times. They only lost 1, but for the ball to go right into the guy's hands, anyway. So then you get down 21-7, but you go on a nice long drive, and the game it needs to be 14-7. It has to be 14-7. The fact that they didn't score there was just what do you think? And then on the quarterback sneak, which you could see coming from a mile away, but it's a high percentage play. But then the fact that the ball got knocked out of his hands, he never touched the ground. He got the ball again. He reached it over. I still don't understand how that's not a touchdown. Did they rule forward progress had stopped?
I guess.
And if they rule forward progress had stopped, if the defense had recovered the fumble, they'd be able to advance it.
Exactly.
So then was the play just dead? I don't get it. I don't get it to you, but
yeah, that was
kind of where it was like to not score there.
I didn't like that play call. I wish they would have went into a shotgun formation with a running back to give you do like an option.
Something. I will say they ran a QB sneak from an empty, so they weren't running the ball unless it was a QB sneak. It was definitely obvious as far as quarterbacks. Now, the reason you would run a quarterback sneak from an empty set is to have an advantage, not to have an advantage, but to have it just man on man, just even at the line of scrimmage, because they still have to respect the fact that there's 5 receivers out there. So I'm thinking that's what Scott Turner was. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to spread the defense out and then just get 1 yard up the middle. So I'm still deciding how I feel about it. I mean, it is a high percentage play. Sometimes even when they see it coming, Heinicke is a small guy, but I don't really know what to say about that because it was just too crazy of a sequence of 2 plays to get out of the pocket, to not get the touchdown, to go for the quarterback sneak, and both plays are reviewed. But that's kind of felt like a turning point.
That hurt.
Right, like momentum. It killed momentum more than the points. I think that's what it did. It killed the momentum because I feel like almost if you came out of there with at least a field goal, you would feel a little bit better. But to do all of that and then to come back down the field to get 4th and goal at the 2, 3rd, 4th, whatever at the 2, and then again fail while being down still 21-7. Yeah. Man. It was just like the theme of this season is missed opportunities for me. Mm-hmm. That's the theme of the year. Because other than the Bills game, despite the final scores, really ultimately I will say that they had a chance in every game, in my opinion, even including the Chiefs game. They're not as talented as the Chiefs, but they were in that game until the defense gave up 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the missed opportunities, like this game was just like, it was just everything exploded. The 4th and 3 to no, go ahead. The
No, no,
fourth,
no, no.
yeah,
The 4-3.
the 4th and 3 where again you're going for it, and I like that, and I'm cool with that, but I didn't like the play, and I need to watch it again. But I mean, they were just all. That's the second time where you're kind of trying to run that on a 4th down, and it's. I just think there are more creative ways to get
Yeah.
those yards. To get 3 yards, there are more creative ways than just isolating. Yeah, he's your number one receiver, but isolating him, and he just has to win on a curl route, on a comeback route.
Mhm.
I think there's better ways to use the weapons that you have. Which,
Yeah.
speaking of Terry McLaurin, he dropped a touchdown too.
You did drop that. That hurt. That hurt. It's just like they were like allergic to it this week. Like
Yeah, right.
they
Like
just
they
couldn't
just
get in
didn't
it.
want it. Yeah, yeah.
They didn't
I
want it,
mean,
man.
and also in that 4th and 3, I have to watch it back, but I really feel like Heinicke. That's one of those plays where he could have taken off and run as well. Is what
Yeah.
it looked like.
He did do well with his legs this game. I do give him
I
that.
mean, he did.
He did
Right.
really,
He did
really well.
overall. He
But
did it. He
Gibson was my problem on offense. He missed opportunity.
he did.
Antonio
He really
Gibson,
did.
that
You,
play should have been a touchdown. This man
when he
slipping,
tripped,
all
yeah,
this.
he's falling at the end of like every run. Like
Everyone,
he's just
him and
falling.
McKissick, both of them, they both do it every
McKissick is
single.
always fall. He slipped on I think it was 3rd and 2. I think it was the play where McLaurin dropped a touchdown. I think they wanted McKissick on a little Texas route where the running
Yeah,
back goes out of the backfield, out and then back in. He slipped on that play like five, or not on that play, but he slipped in the red zone like 5 times last year. J.D. McKissick is always slipping. And then, I mean, you just look at it, Tay. So, okay, you had the blocked field goal. That
hmm
was, that was what it was. And then you come back and you block a field goal.
hmm
So I'll just call that a wash. But then you have the turnover on downs in the 4th and 3. That's at least 3 points, we'll say. You have the
Yep.
turnover on downs on Heinicke going down early and not getting the QB sneak. That's 7. And then you have the turnover on downs where Terry McLaurin drops the ball and Heinicke can't hit Ricky Seals-Jones, who may or may not have been pass interference, but also had options who were open elsewhere. You lost by 14, and that is 17 points. Like that is a clear 17 points that you should have had.
The Heineke experiment is over for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I like the fact that he can use his legs. I like that aspect, but now it's just his IQ is. I think his IQ is really bad, and I think his brain
It
doesn't
was
register
good,
with
and
his
it's
arm.
going down.
Yeah, his brain doesn't register with his arm. I think he says that he thinks he can make a pass, but his arm strength is just not there. His arm strength is a
Hmm.
huge problem. Huge problem.
Yeah, yeah,
His deep ball accuracy is terrible.
yeah. There's
His
no
mid is good.
right. Yeah, I like once you get around the 40, that's where he starts throwing the ball downfield and into the end zone, like the one he threw to Terry McLaurin and against the Falcons and other stuff. But I mean, Washington hasn't had. I don't think have they had a play over 60 yards this season. I
Maybe
don't.
not.
Well, okay, you had the Gibson screen, but
Oh
I
yeah.
really mean like a downfield play, not a yards after the catch play. Yeah, that's because of Taylor Heinicke.
Right.
And that's for a number of reasons outside of his arm strength as well, but it's included in the arm strength because I don't know that they'd be much better than 2-5 with Fitzpatrick, but you would have had more explosive plays. I am fully convinced of that. I tweeted out that it doesn't matter changing quarterbacks, like going to Kyle Allen doesn't matter. And really what I meant by that was like neither guy is your answer. Maybe Kyle Allen wins you a couple more games this year, but what does that do? Why does that matter if you win a
Right.
couple more games? The only reason I would say it could matter, like when they switched from Dwayne Haskins last year, is if it's impeding other players' ability to develop.
hmm
So like, De'Ami Brown or something or other guys, which with Heinicke, I don't really feel is the case so much. Again, the downfield passing offense missing is the thing, but I don't feel that he's really impeding players' ability to develop. That's the only reason I'd change quarterbacks though at this point. I just don't think like you can change to Kyle Allen, and like I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying there should be no expectation for any major improvement. And even if there is, why does it matter? Because Kyle Allen is not your franchise quarterback. So
Exactly.
what's the point? So let's talk about the defense now then. Because that first drive was like the epitome of the problems that they've had. They gave up 2 third downs, then they gave up the 4th and 3, which ended up being a touchdown. But the 3rd and 11, 4th and 3 were both plays where you were able to force the offense out of the design of the play. But then Rodgers runs and then he scrambles and then guys are out of position or just not able to stick with guys off schedule, and they end up scoring a touchdown. But then they don't score again until right before the half, 2-minute drill. And keep in mind the offense really wasn't helping them at this point. I mean, holding Rodgers that Packers offense to 14 points in the first half, I'm not going to be mad at you for that.
Right.
I'll be more mad that the offense clearly could have scored more and didn't. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at the defense. I would they need to force field goals. They need to get those stop on 3rd and 11 or 4th and 3 against the Packers. I mean, it was the same thing when they scored the second touchdown. Do you remember that play where it was right before the half and they scored the touchdown where Cobb? It looked like he caught the ball and it would have been 1st and goal at the 3 and it was incomplete. And then it was incomplete, so it ended up being 3rd down. And I was like, it probably would have been better if it was 1st and goal at the 3 than 3rd down. Because they're honestly probably better on 1st and goal at the 3. Yeah. 3rd down and 5. And then it's just the easiest touchdown to Alan Lazard.
Yeah.
Lazard.
Started in fantasy this week.
Oh, man. Good call.
17 points. Wow.
No. Every week. If you're not doing it yet, pick up an offensive player that the team that Washington is playing, and it's going to work for sure.
I started Tunyon
and Lazard. And I know each of them had over 15. I know Tanya, yep. Oh my, both had touchdowns. Good Lord. And Danny Johnson out there, your 5th, 6th cornerback. But okay, you gave up 14 for the half. And I mean, just to that point, I thought they were playing well. Not great, but improved in the first half. And then in the second half, you give up 10 points. So the one major thing I want to point out from the defense, this was their best game of the season, right? Defensively. Now, again, 24 points, 50% on 3rd downs. Rodgers completed let me see, his completion percentage, was it 80%?
I mean, it was crazy.
He was 27 for 35. Most of the game, he was he only had 3 or 4 incompletions, 3 touchdowns, no picks. But still their best game. Landon Collins played less than 50% of the defensive snaps, played about 43%. Jamin Davis played all but 1 defensive snap. Do we think it's a coincidence that the defense played their best game at the same time Landon Collins was on the field the least amount of time? And this is against a good offense.
No.
Also, Aaron Jones, 6 carries, 19 yards. They did nothing in the running game.
Wow. And they made
57 rushing yards. Right. Do we think that's a coincidence, Tim?
Nope.
Because talk about Landon Collins in the box. Okay. In the box, he is incapable, more or less, of giving up big touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not a great player. You are hiding his ability to just completely destroy the defense by having him in the box because he's not the safety net. There are safety nets behind him. So when he's the safety net, it's over. When he's not the safety net, he is at best a below average player.
Right.
I just don't think it's a coincidence that Landon Collins' least amount of time on the field also correlates with the defense's best performance of the year. But we don't have to talk about that a whole lot. That's just, especially after what happened last year with the defense after Landon Collins got hurt. Man, I don't know what these connection issues are.
Play the Packers. It's terrible.
Go again. Say it again. Sorry, it was.
Yeah. I said. Yeah. I don't think it's any coincidence. I about had it with Landon Collins. I mean, he's missing tackles. Yesterday, he popped up on the screen a little bit, but I think that's what you need from him. Just a couple plays, but I think he's pretty much done here in Washington. I think you give him as least snaps as he can. Maybe as the team gets better, you can give him a little bit more snaps, maybe. But
I mean, I think they're rather than just straight up benching him at safety, they're saying we still want to have you on the field some, but we're decreasing your snap count, and I'm fine with that overall. Yeah. I'm fine with either of the two, but he needs to be on the field less. So because let's see, they play the Broncos this week, and I'm very curious to see if this continues. Keep him below 50%. Cam Curl was at 100. Remember, we started the season. Cam Curl was below 50. Landon Collins was at 100, and they were horrible. Now I'm going to count to 3, and when I say 3, let's each say who is the best defensive back right now, or playing the best. Which defensive back is playing the best on the team right now? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ben St. Juice.
St. Juice. I knew you were gonna go there, but St. Juice.
I mean,
you mean corner or?
I mean, yeah, corner. Yeah, we'll say corner. Corner. DB overall, really, honestly,
DB overall,
safety and corner. Okay.
But,
I am. I'm not sure.
Close second.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Even the PI that he had, to me, so on that play, he maybe could have had an interception.
Yeah,
if he just goes and gets, like, he really did not have to touch Devontae Adams at all. Now, I don't like that they called that PI and then didn't call PI on Ricky Seals-Jones back in the end zone. To me, that's inconsistent, because really either both affected the play or neither affected the play. But I mean, he was there. He got up there. I mean, he was looking back for the ball and everything. He just didn't play to make the pick, but he was there. The one to Randall Cobb, he was right there. His hand was an inch or two away from being in there to deflect that ball. And those are two good receivers playing. I think all year, I never expect really great performance from a rookie cornerback. If you're just not getting burned and you're making tackles and if you're getting picked on by Devontae Adams, but you're there, that's a win in my book.
Yeah.
And Ben St. Juice has just clearly not looked nearly as bad as Kendall Fuller or William Jackson to this point of the season. Like, he has absolutely been their most consistent cornerback. For sure.
For sure.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, and it goes around with that third round pick, but hopefully with Diami, he can get healthy, and this bye week coming up, and hopefully get Cam Sims back this week, and Curtis Samuel maybe they hold out Curtis Samuel to after the bye week or something. I don't know what's going on, but they need some more receivers. I absolutely did not like that wheel route or Texas route to Adam Humphries in the end zone.
Oh, the one that he got picked on?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Even, sure. I just think to go back to that, but that was just one thing that really bothered me, because he's not a number one receiver. He's like maybe 5'10", not really, 5'10",
5'9", 5'8". Yeah, right.
Like, you don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a Cam Sims, Gandy Golden, or Terry. I agree with you. And it was a bad throw. It was behind. I'm with you on that. I don't like that throw to Adam Humphries, but yeah.
Anyway, I love the linebacker play.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go next.
Starting to settle down, and Jamin Davis, he looked good. He looked good for the most part.
He's attacking, man.
Oh man, the 49ers game last night against the Colts. And Darius Leonard, man, oh my goodness, he's so good.
He's so good. So good.
And I'm just like, if we could get that out of Jamin, I'm just like, man, like,
make a big difference.
Closing. Oh my goodness. That was a good linebacker play between him and Warner last night. And I'm just like, man, we just need one of these guys, So I think Jamin did well. And the defensive line, they played great for the most part.
First half, they were controlling the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about Jamin Davis, again, he's playing now almost all the snaps. That's mainly, I guess, because Bostic is hurt. Now, I mean, we've been saying for a number of weeks we'd prefer if a linebacker is going to make mistakes, I'd rather be the rookie than the vet.
All right.
The defense has honestly, they've played two of their best games since Bostic has gotten hurt. They have not been great at all. They haven't been world beaters, but there has not been a drop off from losing John Bostic. So, and maybe this is from Jamin, just kind of now that Bostic's hurt and he's just thrust into it. There is a clear difference in his play in terms of how he is attacking now versus the first 5 games of the season, because he is going now. He's using his speed and athleticism, and he's going. And like I said last week when we recorded, I'd rather him attack within his responsibility and be wrong than hesitate on every play. Because if you keep attacking, you're gonna be right, you're gonna be wrong. If you hesitate, you're wrong every time. And like he gave up the touchdown to Ton. Like he had a very good run stuff. Like it just came in and just destroyed it. He had a couple other plays where he was just, he was just around the ball. He was just getting to the ball fast. He gave it the touchdown to Tanyan. And I mean, he's a rookie. Like I don't, I'm not mad about that. The same way I wouldn't be mad at St. Juice getting beat. He's a rookie.
Right.
But I like that he is like actually attacking the ball. And now those are probably, because Cosme has obviously been solid. De'Ami Brown, he needs to get healthy. And I don't know how much he's going to get the ball as long as Heinicke's a starter, especially downfield. But Cosme, I'm sorry, but Jamin Davis and St. Juice are the two I'm really looking at now. Right. Because like we all want De'Ami Brown to pan out. But even if he doesn't, if you hit on Jamin Davis and Sam Cosme and St. Juice, they're wide receivers every year. Yeah. So, honestly, wide receiver is the least of my concerns in terms of acquiring talent as opposed to linebacker, offensive line, and cornerback. Mm-hmm. Between the four of them, I'd probably pick the first three to hit over De'Ami Brown. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it comes down to quarterback next year. He may hit next year, whenever we get a quarterback. Right. You may see some more stuff for De'Ami Brown. So that's just what it is, man. I think you can hit on Jamin. I think by the end of the year, you'll look at Jamin going into next year like, okay, we got middle linebacker sealed, linebacker spot. We still need a couple linebackers. I think we need to draft a running back. I agree. We need to put some pressure on Gibson. I think he's getting too content.
I think that they need to. I would honestly hold him out till the Bucks or after the Bucks game and just let him chill. The dude he's playing hurt, and it's hurting our ability to be more explosive because he's still getting his 6 yards, but that's it. He's not getting more than 6.
Nope.
I'm with you.
Another guy. You need to start looking at another guy. But overall, I think the defense played really, really well. I think special teams, they played well. Tim Settle got a block, huge block.
He got a block. There was that one almost blocked punt, and I was very impressed, that would have been great if they would have blocked it. But I was very impressed with how they didn't destroy the punter because I was like, oh, well, here we go. I thought the punter was getting crushed, and then Apke, your boy, and I couldn't tell who their player was. They both somehow at the last second just they got out of the way. Okay, that was impressive because that's what you got to do there. If you don't get the block, don't touch the punter. That was impressive.
Apke is a special team ace.
Sure, whatever.
Offensively, and I'm gonna give him a grade of like a C. D plus C. I think they moved the ball very well. Man, I loved how creative Scott got with those 2 back-to-back reverses.
Yeah, back-to-back. Yeah.
Where he fumbled in the next one.
Yes, the next one we just kind of. So. Let's talk about Scott Turner for a sec because Scott, like people, offensive coordinator, and I guess both of the coordinator positions are 2 of the most heavily scrutinized after, or maybe more than the head coach sometimes. And people really are either, some people really hate on Scott. Now, I have some problems with Scott Turner in terms of my biggest 2 problems are probably his package for goal to go inside the 5-yard line. It just seems to always be very chaotic. It seems to be a lot of the same. I mean, lots of teams use these concepts, so it's not using them, but it's like it seems like that's it. Like just little Texas routes, just stick. Sometimes I think he doesn't run the ball, when we're at the 5 or so when he should. That's easy to critique after after these situations. But just in general, the amount of success they have, and that includes 2-point conversions inside the 5, I just, and then a lot of it seems to be off schedule, which again happens all over the league. But there's other teams just seem to get inside the 5 and manage to scheme a guy wide open, and Washington just seems to never be able to really do that. And then I just still think he gets carried away with running on 2nd and long pretty often. Mm-hmm. But aside from the fact that Scott Turner has, had to call games for 4 or 5 starting quarterbacks now in like 20, 21, 22 games, like the mistakes that existed that led to them failing to score points this week, you just can't put on Scott Turner. And for me, that's a theme throughout the season. Guys get open, opportunities exist, and the players fail to execute. And so by no means has Scott Turner been perfect, but I don't expect perfection from him. I expect him to just have a lot more good calls than bad calls, and the players to execute pretty consistently on the good ones. And what we're getting is, I think, from Scott Turner, a lot more good ones than bad ones. And then the players are not executing on the good ones as much as they need to. And it makes Scott Turner look bad. Because it's not his fault that Heinicke didn't get in the end zone, that Terry McLaurin dropped a ball, that Heinicke threw to Seals Jones instead of the other options he had, didn't get the QB sneak, didn't get the 4th and 3. Like, even the situations where I didn't love a play call one way or the other, it's just very easy to critique after the fact, and but I think just so much more tends to come down to execution than his play. I like Scott Turner as the offensive coordinator. Like, I'm not out on him, and I really just want to see him with a good quarterback because I think he really could produce a good offense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that last thing that you just said, that I'm not judging him until he gets a quarterback, and I think
Right.
that's fair. And you think of the guys who he's had to coach and the offenses that the game plans that he's came up with, I think have been pretty well. Yeah, he doesn't run it as much as we like, but a lot of those plays can be made with the quarterback, whether it's a smart check down or you get those 4 or 5 yards here and there. And when he does run, Gibson is just
Well, yeah, exactly. Those runs are not being maximized.
Exactly. So
yeah, no, I think that, like, I still think he can be better, but I also feel like if he had a stud quarterback, I don't think anyone would be complaining about Scott Turner. Honestly, I think he can be good. And like, Logan Paulson was on somebody's show and said that Scott Turner primarily runs 3 concepts, and you do see a lot of these are concepts all NFL teams run, but he was saying that that's really all he runs. But my question on that is, it's like a chicken or the egg. You just don't know if he's calling what he's calling because of the quarterback that he has. And I am inclined to believe that is the case, because I do think Scott Turner knows Heinicke, knows what he does well, and knows his limitations. That's just a belief, and it could be right or wrong in that. But I just think that Scott Turner with the Justin Herbert, for example, is the playbook would be more dynamic. That's just my opinion, but I really do believe that it's a downfield passing system, at its core, that lacks the pieces to be that right now.
Right.
So then let's just going to this offseason. And realistically, they're probably not making the playoffs this year, just based on the odds. So, ideally, they are in position to get a quarterback. For me, that's in the draft all the way. I don't want anyone else. I won't be mad at a Rodgers, at a Carr or Wilson, but I just really, why can't every team get a rookie quarterback but us? I want us to get our quarterback, not somebody else's. So anyway, they need a quarterback, but so they draft a rookie next year. You draft a rookie and you're kind of omitting that year. The expectations can't be super high because it's a rookie quarterback. If they drafted a rookie this year, again, expectations shouldn't be too high. It's if they draft a rookie quarterback, what's the clock on Rivera? How much time does he have? What do you need to see next year and then the year after from him and from the team and from the rookie quarterback to say if we're trending in the right direction or it's time to pull the plug on the whole operation?
I just need to see the defense continue to progress. Defense is there, and you continue to draft good talent. I think you'll be okay. I don't expect 2-win season next year with the quarterback because of what we have in place.
And because you'll have another offseason of adding talent.
Exactly, and you have a softer schedule to play.
Right.
As opposed to what we had this year.
AFC West, golly.
So, I think we play the Dolphins division next year. Dolphins, Jags, Texans.
I haven't checked. I haven't checked.
So
I'll look while you're talking.
if that's the case, then um, I I would expect middle average season next year. Within the following year, taking those heights to the next step, consistent playoff. Um,
They play
because even
AFC South, so like what you
South,
said, and NFC North.
okay, so yeah, so Bears and
Bears, Vikings, Lions, Packers, and then
see,
Texans, Titans, Colts. Texans, Titans, Colts, Jags.
Jags,
That's a different schedule.
yeah, totally
That's a pretty
different,
major
totally
difference.
across our
Yeah,
division. So
yeah,
I mean, then you're looking at maybe 10 wins next year if you're looking at something like that. Considering you have a quarterback, offensive line is great. You'll probably get your left tackle next year with Leno gone. You'll probably draft one. Um, right tackle, offensive line is great.
yeah. The offensive line is not a problem right now. They're the best thing about the year so far.
Yeah, yeah, and that's encouraging. So I think next year, ideally, I'm looking at 10 wins, considering they get the guy that they need at quarterback. Like if it's a Pickett, Howe, Corral, I mean they're gonna have a chance to get their guy this year, I believe. And I don't think they're far off. I just think this year needed to happen because of the simple fact that they don't have a quarterback, and
Yeah,
it gives the defense a wake up call. Like, look, you're not as good as you think you are, and you're going
right.
to come in next season hungry. So, and it's hard for teams to come back with defenses top 10 year in
Yeah,
year or number one
yeah.
defense. Now, granted, Baltimore has done it, quite
Steelers have been doing it for
but
20 years. They're
that's rare. I mean, but that's
yeah,
rare. So
yeah.
yeah, that's how I think next year it should be competing for wild card
With the right rookie,
with the
and that's
right
the
rookie
thing.
quarterback.
So when we talk about how long it takes to develop a quarterback, like it can obviously still take some time, but nowadays the good ones are showing that they are good early,
So
like
like 2 years
Herbert,
next
like
year,
Kyler, like
Burrow.
Burrow, like Deshaun Watson, like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, even Baker. Baker was pretty good his rookie year,
Mhm.
and then has kind of leveled out some. But I mean, even Lamar has been dynamic,
Mhm.
since pretty early on. Josh Allen, was a development guy. Uh,
Mhm.
he showed flashes, but basically what I'm saying is like the 3-year development for rookie quarterbacks is not really a thing anymore. Like you will know pretty quickly, in my opinion. Like I look at Tua right now, and there's still Tua fans, and there's a lot of situation, but do you expect him to take a major leap? Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? I'd say no. So yeah, if you get the right guy,
Mhm.
and then you just again have another year to build the roster and to replace some of these defensive guys who are struggling, to add more offensive talent, because you really do need to add more offensive talent still. Then, like for me, by all means, let's try to get to 7 to 10 wins. Let's aim for a wild card. If you're at least at the end of that season contending with your rookie quarterback, there's this talk of the last 5-6 weeks where you can win some games and sneak your way into the playoffs. I'm good with that. Because then after that, you have another year where now you've got the quarterback, you got the right one. You have another offseason to continue to build again. And then, I mean, if you get it wrong, if they get it wrong, if they draft a quarterback and it's the wrong pick and he's a bust, but the team is built well and the team is having success aside from the quarterback, but they still need to address quarterback, I can forgive that. Because I can
Mhm.
forgive just whiffing on a young quarterback. If they fail to build the team in 4 years, that's unacceptable. That's
Right.
when you really got to like move on, because 4 years is more than enough time to build up a roster.
Right.
But just you got to get the quarterback. So yeah, that's where I am at. I wouldn't like my expectations for next year would be similar to this year, which was 8-9, 7-9 or so. But like if things start going south, I'd say, hey, let's just try to turn it around. Like I'm not
Mhm.
rooting for you. The only time I'm ever rooting for a losses or fine with a down season is as long as they don't have a quarterback.
Right.
And then this is the last thing I'll say. 2019, 2019, no, 2020. Sorry, Washington was 3-13. The Bengals were 1-15. They draft Joe Burrow. They have another down year. They draft Jamar Chase, and now they are beating the Ravens in ways that the Ravens would beat us. Okay, Jamar Chase might be he's on pace to have the best season of a rookie receiver ever. He's on pace to have over 1,700 yards. Jamar Chase. They got, and then the Bengals were not, with Andy Dalton, they went to the playoffs 4 straight years. Mm-hmm. Then they got down bad. They got Joe Burrow, who was good, who you knew would be good. They improved their defensive line especially. But they weren't there yet. They still have to have another bad year, especially with Burrow getting hurt. They got a really good offensive weapon. And now they're the top of their division, which has been one of the best divisions in the NFL for a while now. And that probably is the best with the Browns and with the Steelers and the Ravens. And now them, and they're 5-2. They look totally different from Washington, which was the second worst team in 2020, because they've got their quarterback. They've got a really good receiver. Washington does have a really good receiver, but they are far away from having a Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say it can pay to lose sometimes.
Yep. And that's where I'm at right now. I think you have to go all out. That's it. You have to find that guy, and you have to get the guy you want. If I'm Ron and I'm Heinicke and I'm Mayhew, I'm asking Scott, who do you want? And
right.
We can go from there. You can develop these guys and still lose, and I mean, that's it. But just see what you got. Let's develop them so that next year they'll be ready to roll. I mean, I just don't.
Year 2. I'm not. This is year 2 of a rebuild.
Yeah.
Throw out the division title and 7 wins last year. This is year 2 of a rebuild. Mm-hmm. So they do need to show improvement. Players do need to show improvement, but yeah, without you can't rebuild without a quarterback. You have a ceiling without a quarterback. So that's probably 50-60% of the rebuild is that. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Anyway, just enjoying the football season otherwise. watching and enjoying. Can't let Washington ruin the whole season. Waited 9 months for it. So thanks as always for watching or listening, however you consume this content. So we appreciate your support. This is Todd.
This is Tay.
We're out.